We as a society tend to put a lot of weight on what you do for a living directly correlates to the value you are as a person. I don't agree with that, but I also think recognizing that is important as a society where you can put someone and say, hey, you are valuable. You are a part of this team. We're going to put you in position to be successful. We're going to treat you like a person. We're going to, make sure that you feel trusted. You have an opportunity to grow your skills and you have an opportunity to put more dollars in your bank account. The outcomes of that are tremendous.
Welcome to The Growth Stack, the show where we explore how great companies grow smarter and faster through better technology and talent. Today, I'm joined by Matt Elsey, CTO of StrideUX, a design and product strategy firm helping startups scale intelligently through human-centered design and embedded collaboration. Matt, welcome to the show.
Yeah, definitely. So again, my name is Matt. I am the CTO at Stride. I've been in that position for honestly less than a year, but the founder of that company, his name's Corey, is a very close friend of mine. We worked together in a lot of different capacities, and the company itself has been around for about 6 years, and I've been involved in some capacity over those 6 years as it started from, side hustle, small projects, and grown to the level that it's at now, and to the point where we felt like it made a lot of sense for me to come on and us to start, really building building a company or building on top of what Corey has already built. My background specifically is I started in the tech space. I've been in it for about 20 years now. I started in high school. The story I always love telling is I started out as a graphic designer. I am colorblind. So it was always a funny thing for me being in graphic design and not really knowing how to differentiate shades and colors, but, sampling brand colors from companies and, making sure that, things were high contrast and were visible for me, and no one ever really complained. But I learned very quickly that even though I had a passion for well-designed things, my talent was a bit more apparent on the engineering side. I always felt like I was a pretty average designer, but the engineering side was a much better medium for me to be able to execute on that vision. But I always had a great appreciation for front-end design. Always was really passionate about just the experience and building well-thought-out products. I went into engineering on the website, as a lot of people did. And then when a lot of those web technologies kind of exploded in that space, a lot of doors of opportunity opened up to get more into application level development. Yeah. So I've had a journey on about half of my career has been spent in the more agency consulting client focused world, which I know we'll chat about. I've definitely got a lot of thoughts and experience there. And then the other half has been more on the product focused world where I work for a company where we build a specific product and that's the main focus of what we do. And both worlds are really fascinating. It's been really cool to see both sides of it. I think there's a lot of pros and cons on both sides of that, but that journey took me through a lot of different engineering iterations and technologies and experiences. Eventually, over the last few years, that's led me into more of leadership positions, helping grow teams, helping mentor younger engineers and people in that space, as well as just get more involved on just business operations and how technology can impact the success of a business. And ultimately, all of those steps have led me back to be working with Corey again.
Nice.
As we look to get this company to the next level of what we hope it can be in the next couple of years.
Nice. So for those who don't know about Stride, what do you guys do specifically?
Yeah, I think you framed it really well. So we are at its core, a creative agency. The approach we take, and I guess what differentiates us is we use the term embedded team a lot. And what we really try and do is try and bring some of that product practice and process that's a little bit different than a typical agency, but really integrate with teams so that we can align with how they do work. We can be accountable for delivery of what we're sending. And our main goal is just to deliver value every week, every month. Using some buzzwords, unblock problems, make sure that we can maintain velocity, but really from the creative standpoint. A lot of times creative, whether or not it's design, branding, UX, UI, just product centric practices, I think over the last couple of years have become more of a primary focus, but a lot of times it's undervalued. And we recognize that really successful products, you have to put the work in on that side. And it shows. And the brands that you use, the products you use every day, you have that positive experience because it's well thought, it's well designed, it feels good, it looks nice. And that we think is really valuable, especially in the space that we're in right now with AI and some of the other tech coming along. We feel like really leaning into the creative space and having a lot of strong branding presence, strong and well thought out, experiences in the app. We're passionate about it, and that's kind of the space that we're in. So a lot of our services revolve around the UI UX side of things, but we can bring a lot of different fractional things to the table, and we have a really experienced team. So the main focus of our company is really just to come in and help solve problems and help you get either to market quickly or help you get to the next version or iteration or step of growth with whatever application you have. And that could be on the marketing side, that could be on the product design side, or that could be on the engineering side, or some combination of the three.
Right. So my guess, correct me if I'm wrong, if I was building an application, whether that's like a mobile application, or maybe I'm building more of a desktop web application, and are the majority of your clients finding you for, initially at least, the design side, UI, UX planning, and then go, oh, you could do some of this as well? Yeah, we could use some extra help.
That's what, like again, not to use too many buzzwords, but like the term fractional services is a pretty buzzwordy term right now, but like it's an exciting one for me because we can really come in and augment what your team needs. So a lot of the companies we work for, the majority of our clients are in the B2B space, but they're heavily indexed on the engineering side, whether or not they're small startups, larger companies working at the enterprise level. A lot of their story has been, hey, like we had this idea, we built it, we've gotten it to this certain point from a technological perspective, and we need help to like improve the experience, to improve user retention, to get us to the next stage of growth, or to build out these features, but we're not really sure which one to prioritize or how to really lay it all out in an experience that would make sense to a user, or really delight, a user that we want to either retain or gain. So I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that that space is fascinating in and of itself. And I think for us, the way that we approach it is really trying to figure out like, what can we help you with? It might be, when we start out, we might be more focused on the UI and UX side, and we work specifically with the product team. But as that team starts to show success or really starts to move, we've found that like other departments are like, hang on a second, we can use some help. And most often, and I think the majority of our clients, we actually work with both, not to genericize the departments, but both like the product side and the marketing side. And sometimes it's more brand related, sometimes it's design related, sometimes it's UI UX research, sometimes it's high fidelity designs, low fidelity designs, and then we can bring engineering into that space. That's part of my role, is to really explore what kind of services we can continue to add and layer on top of it, but still stay in our creative wheelhouse. But most of the time, it's been more on the like creative side of things. And the cool part is that as a company grows, like our role with them kind of evolves. We've had scenarios where we started out heavily indexed on the product side. They then grew their product team to the point where we then transitioned to focusing either into other problem areas or transition maybe to index more on the marketing side, and kind of grew with that company. Long term, that may end up, putting us in a place where our clients would eventually outgrow us. And the stance that we take is that's an exciting idea. Like if we want to be a part of that growth, we want to be a part of that success, and we want to set people up for that success. So we think that if we bring that energy and that attitude, everybody wins. And then that's really what's ultimately led to, we've got some really long-term relationships. Most of our clients have been with us since Corey founded the company about 6 years ago. So we really think the work speaks for itself. A lot of people have kind of framed us as their creative department. I think a few of our clients refer to, Corey or our team as their creative team, or as the creative director of their team. They really view us as a part of the team. And that's what we love about it, is we want to be there. We want to help. We want to assist. We want to unblock. We want to add value wherever we can. But we also are really passionate about the work we do. We get really excited about it. And that's the cool part about it. And not to continue to kind of ramble on, but like the agency experience that I've had specifically on the creative and technical side tends to be a little bit bottom line oriented. It's very like, hey, just give me the minimum viable. Okay. The quality doesn't necessarily matter. On time, under budget, let's just go. And like, there's a place for that at certain stages. But I think the cool part about what we do is that we're bringing that sense of product ownership, where we're accountable for the delivery. We can invest a little bit more in the understanding of the market, the product, even the team, and how they work and how to make them successful, which I think proves out in the general experience we have with our clients and really what we can deliver for them.
Sorry for the quick interruption, but if you want to contact the guest, check the description for the best way to contact them. And if you are interested in hiring nearshore software development contractors, or you are interested in using AI to improve any function of your business, you can go to the link right here to set up a meeting to discuss your needs. Now back to the episode. Your ideal client, I'm guessing it's not the Googles of the world. It's your I'm guessing your marketing material is not for them. So who is your ideal client?
Those are the ones that we honestly, and we're willing to work with anybody, whether or not they have a legacy platform they're looking to modernize, they have a really strong platform and they're just looking to take to the next level, or someone that's starting with an MVP concept and they're like, I have investment dollars, I know I need to hire engineering, I'm not sure where else to put it, I just need some help in the short term. Maybe it turns into a long-term thing, but can you just help us get this thing off the ground? So we've been across that spectrum. I think our ideal client and where we've had the longest running, relationships have been those like just past MVP stage startups that have, they're on either their first round of funding or they're at that level of like, they're starting to scale. We come in and again, we're a really effective use of labor dollars, to put it bluntly, is because we can come in and say, we can cover a gamut of different things that could pivot weekly, monthly. And instead of hiring, one full-time employee, you can bring us in for around the same cost, depending on where you're at and what you're looking for. And you can have a variety for a short period of time so that you can maybe focus on continuing to bolster the engineering side, and we can bolster your creative side until you're ready to start investing into that side of the company as well. So that has been the formula for us. We've been the most effective in that space. Plus, we're a startup ourselves and we come from, a lot of startup experience. So we also get how those teams need to work. We get, the struggles and the pain points there as well. So we can bring that experience along with the creative side. So it just tends to be a really good experience all around.
You talked about the size. What about industry? Is there any industries that are, maybe that you haven't targeted, but you just seem to find your customers are more in this space kind of thing?
Yeah, it's been more B2B. We've got some newer clients that are more in the consumer space. We as a team have a lot of consumer oriented experience, so we're very comfortable across the gambit. Honestly, the market has been all over the place. There really isn't one particular one, and we're really comfortable working in any market. Like we've got fleet management, we've got social media, AI, moderation. There's project management suite of tool with Salesforce. So like it's kind of across the gambit on a lot of different markets, but a lot of those have been at the enterprise B2B level. And, we've got, like I said, we've got some more consumer oriented ones that we're getting into now. So yeah, it's not to cop out on that answer, but it has been kind of all over the place. And I don't really think we have any strong opinions about one market that we prefer over another. I think we're comfortable working with small, large teams, but specific market, like we're really comfortable. One, because we have an experience across a lot of different markets, but two, we're very comfortable, even if it's a newer space for us, getting up to speed quickly and making sure that we can add value.
I'm curious about you in particular. So, customer, or you get a new client and there's some discussions. Yes. Okay. There's an agreement to work together. Are you involved in that? Do you have other staff members involved? What is that working relationship? You said you have some clients have been with you 6-ish years or so.
Yeah,
what is that experience like?
Yeah,
for the customer,
and I'll be honest.
Client?
Like I said, I've been full time here for about less than a year, but I've been working with Corey for a long time. This is the company he's built, and those relationships are ones that he's cultivated, and they've really sustained because of the level of work that he brings and the level of care that he brings to the relationship. We really try. We're really people first. It probably sounds corny. I think a lot of people say that, but it's both culturally as a company and also with our clients. Like we just generally care about the success of the people we work with. So as far as my role in that and really what it's looked like as we continue to try and not only, make sure our current client base is happy and what's on the future horizon for them, what do their roadmaps look like for the next couple of years, and where can we add value and continue to add value for them, but also as we look to potentially scale and add new clients to that base. We're a small team. We've got 5 full-time employees. I think that number is correct. With a handful of part-time, as well as we have a roster of contractors that we spin up and spin down as needed that we vetted and we've worked with before. So the because of that, everyone wears a lot of different hats. We have, a full-time project manager. She's also has a pretty significant background in sales. Like she's a rock star. She covers every aspect of things. So she tends to lead a lot of our sales efforts, but I find myself in discovery calls. Corey will find himself in discovery calls. Our team is just, again, we're also a startup, so we're willing to jump in wherever is necessary.
Yeah.
Sales process up until now has been very relationship based. It's been referrals. It's been, a client we worked with, one of their teammates moved to another place. They loved working with us so much, they brought us into that place. So a lot of it is very relational based. And we want to engage at the person level first, make sure that we can understand the problem space, the friction points, and then we can figure out how to add value there. We're not, we don't want to come in and just take people's money. We want to make sure that we're solving problems. We need to know what those problems are to start. So it's very conversational to get rolling. And then once we're in the space, we just kind of keep that rolling.
It seems taking someone's money is a very short-sighted goal.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's where, the used car salesman kind of thought comes from, but that doesn't, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but that doesn't lead to like a long-term relationship. If someone feels like they're getting taken advantage of, are you just after me for my money?
Exactly. And like
kind of a situation.
Obviously we're a business, we're trying to be profitable. But if our clients aren't successful, then we're not successful. And that's also an indicator of like what we can deliver for future clients. But the model we have is really, it's kind of retainer based. We have a lot of clients that are on a recurring, almost subscription model.
Yeah.
That I think is great because there's accountability that comes with that. We have to deliver. We have to be passionate and make sure that we're adding value because in order to maintain that relationship, they have to see the value in that investment. But at the same time, like I've come from environments where it was, hey, puff your hours, pad a bunch, like go do as little as possible so that profit margin's there. And just, if we can convince them to renew, fine, but whatever, we'll just move on to the next one. And like separate from the business side, me as an individual, like I care about what I do, like we all like right, wrong, or indifferent. Like we spend a lot of time doing work. I want to do something that adds value. I want to do something that, improves the experience of not just the customer at the end, but like the client that's servicing that customer or my teammates that are servicing the client that are servicing that customer. And that environment, just like I use the term all the time, it's just soulless. Like, it's just like there's no enjoyment in that, in my opinion. And I think there's a space where you can run a successful business. You can obviously have healthy margins, but you can do it in a way where everybody wins. And that's a thing that we've set out to do. That's a thing we're really trying to prioritize. And like I said, we're in a relationship business more than anything else. And we've got great clients. We've got great relationships. We're really enjoying the space that we're in.
Yeah. You said something that makes me think of, I grew up playing competitive sports, but, even if you didn't do that, maybe you're on a team for a project in school, right? You three need to do a presentation, and invariably someone does more work, someone kind of doesn't do anything, and it leaves this, man, we're not really a team. We're a group of individuals, but we're not a team. And throughout sports, you've seen teams who maybe have more talent, who are a collection of individuals who don't actually function well as a team. And that speaks to that relationship side. My guess is if you and Corey said, oh no, we're people first, but didn't treat your employees and other staff members that way, it would be really hard to treat them poorly and treat your customers well. You either are or you aren't. Is that how you feel?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't want to get on a soapbox here, but like at the core of what I do and what we do, that is really the mission. Obviously we want to add a tremendous amount of value to our clients. We want everyone to be successful. We want to, deliver cool designs and really interesting products and help people drive value and problem solving down to their customers as well. But throughout my, 20 years in this technical space, having a number of different roles, the area that I really, really started, like it unlocked for me, and what I really started to see from cause I got to a point where it was starting to feel like burnout, and I just wasn't really sure if I wanted to stay and what I wanted to do. And I had an opportunity to step more into a leadership role where I had the chance to mentor, and I had the chance to make some decisions that would have an impact, positive or otherwise, on the team that I was working with. And what I found is that that's the work that in 20 years, that was the work that had the most impact on me, was being able to see the success of other people. And stepping into that and leaning into that and putting, at a previous role, I had the opportunity to run a department, and I had, double digit number of employees that I helped I don't like the term manage, but like helped facilitate and help set them up for success. And like that was just so rewarding. And it's this thing where it's, people are not numbers in a spreadsheet. They are human beings. They have their own priorities. They have their own goals. They have their own desires. We as a society tend to put a lot of weight on what you do for a living directly correlates to the value you are as a person.
Yep.
I could talk about that for a long time, but like, I think I don't agree with that, but I also think recognizing that is important as a society, where you can put someone and say, hey, you are valuable. You are a part of this team. We're going to put you in position to be successful. We're going to treat you like a person. We're going to, make sure that you feel trusted. You have an opportunity to grow your skills, and you have an opportunity to put more dollars in your bank account. The outcomes of that are tremendous. I've seen a lot of people, when just a little bit of trust and empowerment get put in place, where they feel seen, heard, and trusted to be able to do their jobs well and be creative and grow in that space. I've seen tremendous outcomes, and I've also felt, the positive outcome on myself for that. Now, I mean, obviously there's business aspects to it. Not everybody's a great fit. People are growing skills, sometimes just misalignment, all those things. I'm not trying to make it sound like, pie in the sky or whatever. There are challenges that come with that. I think there's a really interesting aspect of aligning those two different things, but also being okay if someone that's on your team has outgrown your team, or if someone that's on your team isn't the right fit and they need to look elsewhere. I think there's a real human and empathetic way to approach that, where people are still at the center. And ultimately, even if there's a space and a time where a team member isn't the right fit, still wanting the best for that person and wanting to put them in a position to, find what might be the right fit for them. I've just found that general attitude and energy is very rewarding for everyone involved, but even selfishly for myself. And that's kind of the energy that we're bringing here is the relationship aspect of it isn't just clients and getting new accounts and retaining new accounts. It's making sure that we're building the team the right way, the way that we would want to be treated, remembering the manager horror stories from our past and trying to bring that in, and also proving that can be successful too, when we can run a successful business while still investing in the people that have chosen to invest their time with us. That's just kind of how we anchor ourselves.
I imagine that it also makes sleeping at night, when you're out with your family on the weekends, there's less stress there, worrying about some of those bad management experiences and, a problem at work that isn't because you're trying to code something, you don't really know how to do it, but more of a relationship. I have this problem with this other employee. Those things.
I mean, at the end of the day, we're all trying to do our best. There are certain industries that are more critical than others. We are in a place where, there are certain, like if you're in medicine and there's software that fails, like that could be, there's some stress that comes with that. We are in a place where like we value our work and the quality that it is, but like life is important. People, like family is important. Balance is important. And just making sure that we recognize that. We don't want to grind people into dirt. We don't want to, when we're on and we're working, we trust that our team is doing the best they can, and we're all kind of moving in the same direction. And we are constantly course correcting and adjusting to make sure that we all feel good about not just what we're doing, but how we're doing it. But also, like, we're adamant. We don't want people working late. The thing I always tell people is some people are just passionate. If they want to work late at night or on the weekends because it's just what they do and it's fun, like, that's awesome. Go for it. I don't want you to feel like you have to, then I haven't done my job right. I haven't planned correctly. I haven't communicated accurately. I've put too much on your plate. Like, those are the things that I've slept at offices before. I've had marathon, product pushes. That's miserable. So those are the things that we're trying to bring in and make sure that we really say, hey, you know what? You worked enough this week. Go spend time with your family. Or, hey, like, you've put in some late nights. Like, sometimes you have to, but like recognizing when that happens, take the next couple of days off, like balance it out. Like, just, it's those little things, just the recognition of the investment, the recognition of the extra effort. And then like, hey, we see it. Here's something for that level of effort. It just goes a long way.
Yeah, I lived and worked in Europe for a while, and having been in that environment that focuses on more on what
Yeah.
you just described, it's hard
Yep.
to unsee that. And once you've been in that environment, experienced it, and it makes for a much more enjoyable
Yeah.
work environment
I just,
as an employee. When your
yep.
company feels that way, and you're not just how much revenue dollars can I get from you,
Yeah.
it's
It
a much
just,
better environment.
there's a better way, and it doesn't have to be grind people into dirt because we can just go get another employee or, get them to a certain level, but cap them because, they're replaceable. And like, I get it. Like, I get the need for, business margins and growth and profitability depending on how you're structured and what your business goals are. I understand that. That's not where we're at. Our goal is to be a successful company because we have people that we're accountable to now as our employees, that we want to make sure that they have stability and they have quality of life and the opportunity to, do not just spend time with their family, but go do things and have life experiences. So there's
Yeah.
a responsibility that comes with that for us to make smart business decisions, make sure that that company is sustainable and continues to grow. But also, like, we're not in it, Corey and I are not in it to cash as much as we can, and at the expense of others. Like, our goal and our recognition is that the people that work here have also chosen to work here. They are investing their time just as much as we're investing
Yeah.
in them. Like, there's a scenario here where you can have a healthy business and still, treat people the way that they should be and reward people the way that they should be. And that's, we're at least going to try and prove that theory. I'm not saying that we're groundbreaking. I know a lot of companies have recognized that, but I do think it's more the norm to not operate that way. And I think that's unfortunate. So that's just kind of what we set out to do. And that was a big part of when Corey and I had the conversation of me coming on and us really taking it from where he had it, hopefully to the next level. That was at the core of it is, hey, if we're going to do this, we need to be sure that we're doing it the right way. We're very aligned on that. We're really passionate about it. And it's been, like I said, we have a small team, but we love our team. I think we have some really great people. We're excited to continue to add to that as things continue to grow, hopefully. But it's been a lot of fun so far, for sure.
Nice. So let's change gears a little bit. I'm curious about AI. How is AI affecting this design
Yeah.
space at this point?
Mhm.
I know it on Claude Code and there's
Yeah.
some stuff there, but on like talking to a customer, hearing what that's their vision in their head and maybe not quite fleshed out, and you guys breathing life into that. Has AI affected that?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to avoid it, and our big thing is we don't want to avoid it. I think there was some trepidation in this space over the last year or two, really with anyone in tech, because I think tech specifically is a space where AI has had a pretty significant impact.
Yeah.
When we talk about engineering, there are some realities of like the definition of like a CS student coming out of college and the level that we describe a junior engineer is evolving. It's to some extent, unfortunately, the rope's getting pulled up a little bit from that.
Yeah.
I looked at this and we looked at this as like, okay, well, if code isn't really the blocker anymore, and you could argue code was never really the blocker, but like if there's a way to move faster on implementation, there's an opportunity, there's a couple different things happening here. One, in my opinion, there's an opportunity. That doesn't necessarily mean shove a bunch more in. I think that there's an opportunity to invest more on the creative side so that you have the ability to have the same level of investment, but you're cutting less corners. You're getting a higher quality product at the end of it. But a lot of that requires someone that knows how something should be built, knows how something should be architected, has experience around, what a compelling interface looks like. What is the user expecting in this particular feature set or experience? AI is really good at writing code and things that are like trained and predictable. It's less good about,
Sure.
the nuanced differences of newer ideas and creativity and when you get beyond the training. So we feel pretty strongly that there is still a real significant need for a human in that process, particularly one on the creative side that can really guide the implementation side. However, we still feel strongly that there's a lot of opportunity to leverage that technology, both internally, like we've done a lot of exploration R&D of how we keep our team lean while still using some of these tools, but doing it responsibly, making sure that we're really judicious about how we implement it so that we're not just throwing slop out there and it's like using it in a way where we can take some of the busy work away so that we have more margin and capacity to focus on the creative stuff, which then bolsters our quality of what we're delivering, and still being able to do that quickly. Like, that's been the coolest thing about it, is optimizing things like, hey, when a client has a new request, we go through a triage process and we develop a client brief. And there's opportunity there to maybe not fully automate that, because we want a human in there to give their opinion in their eyes and some sort of thing, but automate some of those steps.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Instead of taking an hour, maybe it takes a half an hour. Instead of taking, a couple days, maybe it takes a day. So like those things on the engineering side, leveraging things so that we can maybe build internal tooling. Like, honestly, one of the crazier stories of this last year is that we wanted to really explore some of the newer tooling, especially over the last couple of months, some of the newer pretty significant upgrades in some of the more recent models out of OpenAI and Anthropic. We have it's not unique, but it's a little bit specific of how we do work with clients. None of the project management tools it's been square peg, round hole kind of a scenario. And we were like, why don't we just build something? And like 2 years ago, building your own project management solution is a stupid idea. That's an utter waste of time. Why would you ever do that when there's plenty of tools out there that can accomplish it? Well, we looked at that as, one, this is an opportunity to kind of like experiment with the tooling, but also maybe build a tool that's really effective for us internally. And what we were able to accomplish was we were able to leverage that to build a not overly complex, but what we needed in order to support the process that we had. We did that in like 3 weeks. Would have taken months, if not years, and also been probably a terrible investment, because then we would have had to maintain it long term. Now, will we use it long term? TBD. But like it was a really interesting experiment of like, how do we leverage this tech internally so that we can continue to support the work that we're doing? And then on the other side of it, I think what we've observed is a lot of clients don't know what to do about it. Like whether or not it's they're like, where should we invest our time? Should we hire? Should we be using this agentic framework over here? And the decision we made a while ago is like, we don't want to be afraid of getting replaced. We think that we have a space here. And honestly, what we would like to do is put some of our learnings, some of our workflows, some of the things that we've been able to uncover internally, we want to put that in the hands of our clients too. And then we want to help guide them through that. So that could mean that, hey, maybe we put a prototyping workflow in your hands so that you can ideate yourself. And then, that's maybe a step that we would have facilitated a lot more in depth a while ago. But what if we gave that to you? You have the space and freedom to go ideate a bunch, and then you bring us our ideas, and then we refine it and take it further along. And like, so just leaning into those spaces, not being afraid of the tech coming in and making us irrelevant. Maybe that comes, maybe that doesn't. But saying that like, this is an opportunity to really augmenting teams and making them successful is really what we do. So trying to find spaces so that we can start to incorporate that on the client side of it to help them move faster or be more intentional with the use space has been a big focus for us. So I know I jumped around there a bunch. It's honestly a fascinating time. I think it's exciting, but I think the biggest thing for us is like, we're trying to anchor to the fact that like, yes, the tech is there. Yes, you can do a lot with it. It's still, people are still at the forefront. I don't think we're getting replaced anytime soon. Honestly, this might be one of those freezing cold takes that gets popped up 6 months from now, but like, I think we're still pretty far off from not needing people to be involved. And I think the important thing right now is that there's opportunity for us to use the tools responsibly and still have some really cool outcomes from it.
I was talking to my wife, I think in the last week, about if you think back to ancient Egyptians, the Romans, and things that they've done, and then you think about like all that evolution in what people could accomplish. And then you look at the change from like the Industrial Revolution to maybe, I don't know, like the 80s when computers were really starting to be at a person's home. And from that point to now, and even just in the last 5 years, like we are accelerating quickly.
Yeah.
I'm very curious. I'm a little scared at what AI is going to be able to do. And it's not just in tech. I mean, I've seen them like be able to read X-ray scans or, imaging better, more reliably than some radiologists. That's scary.
For me, the scary part isn't the technology, it's how it gets used. And really like more, not to get like philosophical, but like, I think I'm more concerned about us as a society not being ready for it. And what I mean by that is like, we've already talked a little bit about, a lot of companies driving more for productivity at the expense of the human. Like, we're already seeing the
Right.
layoffs in our space, the impact that it's had from a, hey, profitability and bottom line oriented focus. I think that's not going to get any better. And I think that is, I don't know. I think a lot of companies are moving too fast in that space. And that's the thing that I'm the most worried about. It's not necessarily the technology, or even if the technology's even at a place for replacing people. I think a lot of companies are using it as a reason to do that. And the diminishing return there is enough for them to be like, man, it's okay if the quality goes down X% as long as we can, recover that in our, our EBITDA at the end of the year, like all of those different things.
Yeah.
But I just don't think we're ready for the impact that that's going to have on just us as a society. Because really what it should be, we should be at a place where we work less. If we can maintain the same productivity and all of the different metrics that we hold ourselves accountable to now, and our standard 40-hour work week, or whatever metrics you want to use, you would think we would be, okay, well, I can do the same amount of work for 30 hours a week. So does that mean I get to work for 30 hours a week now? It's like, no, you should now do 60 hours worth of work in that same 40, or whatever that is.
Yeah. Right.
To me, that's the scary part, is like, that's so productivity is so ingrained in our society that like, I think we're missing the opportunity for us to like actually grow, like to be able to say, hey, maybe we don't need to work as much. Because there's too much profit to be had. And that's the thing I think I'm the most curious about what that's going to look like in the next couple of years. That's the thing I'm the most concerned about. And back to how we're building our team, that's the thing that we're really cognizant of is making sure that, like I said, we're using it responsibly, but doing it in a way that we're not phasing people out of opportunity for them to be able to grow from it. And whether or not that might mean work less in some aspects. I don't think that's a bad thing either, for sure.
Sure. So where do you see, like, you and Corey 3 years from now? Where do you see your company?
Yeah, I mean, the 3 years from now, very, very excited to hopefully still be a company. No, I think every startup is in that space of what we're trying to do now is really continue to lay the foundation where we can have a sustainable, well-oiled machine. Our goal, we don't really have aspirations we don't want a 200-person company. We don't want to dominate the world. What we want to do is do cool stuff with cool people. Our goal is to keep our team relatively small and effective, and really be able to kind of adhere to the standards that we have for our culture, which is we want to invest in the people that are here. It's easier to do that with a smaller team where we can really make sure that we're having an impact of the people that are on our team. Whether or not that's, we have, X number of clients and our team's gone from 5 to 15. Like, that's a dream scenario for me, is being able to say that we've been able to have steady growth. We've been able to maintain the level of impact for our clients that we've had, and we've been able to grow our small team a little bit bigger, but then with that bigger team, still be able to have that same level of culture and impact. And that's always the challenge with startups. I've seen it a lot going from small team to big, and a lot of what was so important at the start becomes lost in the translation. That's just not something we're super interested in, I don't think, at this time. So I think for us, a dream scenario is we can get, continue our modest growth trajectories that we want to, but like make sure that we maintain like what is at the essence of what we're trying to build as a team, both from like the way we do work, the quality, and what we're able to deliver, as well as what we can invest in the team that we have.
Yeah. I worked at a startup that I think when I started maybe had 300 people. When I left, it maybe had several thousand. And the change in culture is drastic when you get that. And not just, the employee to employee kind of culture, but also the processes that are involved. And, you have more bureaucracy, and you're trying to make decisions, and there's a lot more going on. I much more prefer the smaller startup size where everyone in the company. You could talk to people. That's a more enjoyable world for myself. So as we are getting towards the end of this, is there anything, like any parting message you want to leave with people? Maybe about your philosophy, Stride, anything?
Yeah, I mean, it's like we've talked about before. Like what we're bringing to the table is we're really genuinely here to help people be successful, and whether or not that's on the design side, on the engineering side, like our goal is, our internal mantra is outcomes over output. Like we we don't want to just show up and have activity. We want to make sure that we're delivering value, we're solving problems for people, and we want to make sure that that's a good relationship on both sides. We know that not everyone's a good fit for us. We're not a good fit for everybody, but we would love the opportunity to be able to sit down, chat, and see what kind of problems we can potentially solve. We're very flexible with how we approach work. We like to be predictable. We don't like to have want hidden costs or a bunch of overages you get slammed with out of nowhere. Like, our goal is to make sure that you see the value you're getting, and whether or not that's for 1 month and one little project or for 4 years and we're helping build your entire, product suite. Like, we're down for anything. And for us, it starts with a conversation. We are more than excited to chat with anybody to see if we can help.
Brilliant. Okay, so if people wanted to get a hold of your company, how should they do that? Where should they find you?
Yeah, best way is our website, StrideUX.io. So like StrideUserExperience.io. Also, LinkedIn, those sort of things.
Okay.
But our website's the best thing. And typically what we do is someone can reach out to us. We will usually do an intro call. And we've also done like little discovery sessions where we get in the weeds and no charge, no obligation. We just get in there and say, hey, like, do we think we can help you? Because not everyone needs us. We're not the right fit for everybody. We don't want to force it because we know that's not going to be a great experience for either side. So we like to have those initial conversations to just gauge, like, can we add value here? And we're really open and honest about it to start. So yeah, our website's the best place to reach out. Would love to start that conversation and see how we can help.
Awesome. Well, Matt, it's been a pleasure. I'm sure we could have spoken longer, but it's been a pleasure. And
yeah, man,
I wish you and Stride the best. And
thanks so much.
Have a great weekend. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and click on the bell for notifications of upcoming episodes. If you want to contact the guest, check the description for the best way to contact them. But if you are interested in hiring nearshore software development contractors, or you're interested in using AI to improve any function of your business, you can go to the link right here to set up a meeting to discuss your needs.